Satellite images of Chinese warship, Taiwanese fighter jets scrambling, US naval carrier group moving through the Pacific. Tensions in the Indo-Pacific are rising again, the world is watching. In response to recent US congressional visits to Taiwan, China has launched a new round of large-scale military drills surrounding the self-governed island was warship and aircraft. Now, with Taiwan's airspace tense and regional nerves frayed, the Pentagon is strapping in, deploying additional naval forces to deter what it calls escalatory behavior. What triggers the fear up? US delegations landing in Taipei, Taiwanese officials shaking hands with senators. The latest confrontation began after a bipartisan group of US lawmakers landed in Taipei, reaffirming Washington's unofficial support for Taiwan's democracy. US supporters on China policy but opposes forceful unification. Beijing quickly condemned the visit, accusing the US of undermining Chinese sovereignty. Within hours, the Chinese military launched a series of coordinated drills, including live fire exercise, joint air-sea patrols, and simulated missiles strikes targeting water near Taiwan. Map shows Chinese military movements encircling Taiwan. The Chinese defense military called it a strong warning to separatist force, while Taiwan denounced the drills as intimidation and physiological warfare. US response naval buildup and diplomacy. US Navy ships in the South China Sea press briefing at the Pentagon. In response, the US Department of Defense ordered a carrier strike group led by the USS Ronald Reagan to reposition closer to region. The US process deployed carrier group reconnaissance aircraft destroyers. The Pentagon said the move is made to reassure allies and prevent miscalculations. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin emphasized that the US is not seeking conflict but will maintain freedom of navigation and support regional stability. Austin said that the Indo-Pacific must remain open, peaceful, and free from coercion. Footage of US and Japanese military officials in joint briefing. Meanwhile, US allies like Japan, South Korea, and Australia have voiced concern and have begun joint exercise with American forces as a show of solidarity. Global implication and escalation risk. US Security Council meeting and analysts on global news networks. The rising tension has triggered global warmth, with some analysts warning that repeated military shows of force could lead to a miscalculation of accidental conflict. The United Nations has called for maximum resistance, while European leaders are arguing both Beijing and Washington to re-engage in a diplomatic dialogue. Timeline of past fear-ups: Pelosi visit in 2022, drills in 2023 and 2024. The latest crisis follows a pattern of sharp elections escalations over the past 3 years, each time sparked by high-level US-Taiwan interaction. Foreign policy analysts say that each drill is more sophisticated than the last. China is clearly preparing for the long game, not necessarily innovation now, but pressure over time. Taiwan's position and what happens next. For Taiwan, the message is clear. Military pressure from Beijing is intensifying, but so far it is resolved. The government has announced a boost in defense spending, including expanded missile defense system and cyber capabilities. Public opinion polls show that most Taiwan citizens want to maintain the status quo, resisting both full independence and forced reunification. Peaceful protests, Taiwan's young waving flags. As US forces patrol the Pacific and Chinese jets circle over closer, one mistake could incite a regional crisis with global stakes. The world now waits and watching closely for any move that might tip the balance. China-Taiwan crisis watch, July 2025, US Naval Press expanded, PLA drills ongoing. Subscribe for more real-time updates on China-Taiwan relation and US defense moves and global security trends.